Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Nyx with Chromates Apothecary, and today I'm bringing you a tarot pick-a-card reading where we're going to be getting some messages on how it is that they feel about you. So this could be somebody that you're specifically thinking about as you look upon these cards, or it could be somebody who's thinking about you really heavily and they're trying to let you know that through the messages that you'll be receiving. So starting on the far left side, we have the Art Nouveau Tarot deck along with this Honey Calcite representing group number 1. In the center, we have the Marigold Tarot along with this Jasper, this Zebra Jasper representing group number 2. And then on the far right, we have the Rider-Waite Tarot deck along with this Bloodstone representing group number 3. So feel free to pause the video if you need to look upon these cards, meditate and see which ones are calling out to you. And then when you've made your decision, head on down to the description box below and click on the timestamp that corresponds with the group that you chose. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick-a-card readings in the future, and I will see you guys in your reading. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading all about what it is that they feel about you. So you could have been attracted to this deck because of the Art Nouveau Tarot's background or this Honey Calcite. And what I wanted to share with you with this Honey Calcite is that this could be representing either yourself, so that can help you realize that this is indeed your reading, or it could be the person that you are thinking of or the person who is trying to come through to you in these messages. They could really hold the qualities of this Honey Calcite, which are that this is someone who is very warm and very nurturing, and it's somebody who really makes you or others around you feel safe and feel just really comfortable within themselves. So I'm going to do something a little bit differently than I normally do, and I'm actually going to roll this Astro Dice a couple of times to see kind of the zodiac signs that have to do with this reading. So this can either, again, be another indicator that this is for you if your zodiac sign comes up, or it could be within their sun, moon, or rising. So the first one we are seeing here is Virgo. Next, we are seeing Libra. And lastly, we are seeing Aries. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there in case that can help you really solidify that this is indeed your reading. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this a few times. We're going to tap into this person, and we're going to see how it is that they feel about you, group number 1. Let's get some information, anything that can help us indicate who they are. Firstly, we're seeing the Two of Pentacles coming up. Next, we have the Seven of Swords. Ooh, we got a few jumping out. The Ten of Cups in the reverse position. And I'd like one more, please. One more card for group number 1. There we go. And lastly, we are seeing the Queen of Cups in the upright position. I was going to say, I'm really getting a vibe that this is someone who is either female or someone who is just very in touch with their emotions and in touch with their feminine side. So it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who is like has a female identity. This could obviously be someone who is male, but it could be that they just know how to really feel empathy for others around them and really know how to make others feel calm and relaxed, kind of like how we're seeing in that Honey Calcite. So the first thing we're seeing is in the Two of Pentacles, this is very much about having balance and being able to prioritize things. So it could be that this is someone who is really on top of their life and they've got their things together, or it could be that they very much like to prioritize their time with you. I'm seeing it as if you're kind of the forefront of their life. Like when they wake up, they think of like wanting to send a text to you, or they kind of like to check up on you, kind of thing. This is also really giving me vibes of when we pulled Virgo earlier, so it could really lean a little bit more that this person is a Virgo. We are seeing somebody who tends to have a really good routine put in place, and they're able to adapt. So if something gets in their way, they kind of switch things around in order to really work things out. But looking a little bit further, we have the Seven of Swords in the reverse position. So we're seeing also that with this card, it tends to mean that there's something going on with either their inner mental thoughts and a need or a want to break free from those things. So it could be that maybe this person is very caring toward you, and they want to show more of themselves to you, but they're having a hard time because something is going on that's causing this sort of mental block that's making it really hard for them to be able to show it in such a blatant way almost. It could also be that they're going through this sort of change right now where they are trying to really break through and break free of this mental challenge in order to show more of themselves to you. And why I think they want to show more of themselves to you is that we have the 10 of Cups in the reverse position here. And normally this card is like the perfect, like everything's aligned. It's normally like the happy marriage card. It's normally that there's harmony within this relationship and happiness. But with it being in the reverse position, it's seen as a broken home or marriage, and it's seen as like there's some sort of misalignment going on of their values and your values. So if this is something like a partnership that you have with somebody and you're trying to think about your partner, it could be that maybe right now they're having a hard time showing this Two of Pentacles. They're having a hard time prioritizing you or being able to balance things, and it's because they've got this mental like block that's happening that they need to break through in order to regain that. But I don't think it's from a lack of trying. I'm getting this feeling like it's just because there's been so many things weighing on their mind that they haven't been able to push past it and really work on it, because I think they're trying to go about it alone instead of being aligned with you, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. It's like maybe they're afraid of opening up and sharing the details of what it is that they're dealing with because they don't want to push you away or they don't want to scare you, because I think it's almost like this is kind of a newer relationship. If it is a relationship, I'm getting this sort of feeling like this is almost happening like after like the honeymoon phase, and it's kind of like they're sitting there being afraid to lean on you a little bit more. But for people who this isn't a romantic relationship, I am getting a very strong message of this actually legitimately being a mother figure in your life. And because I'm seeing, obviously, we have the Queen of Cups next that we haven't spoken about yet, but I'm almost seeing a mother figure who has really had to step up in her life to take care of you. And she's currently going through some issues that have to do with either her marriage or home life. And it's causing some sort of like roughness with you guys' relationship, but not because she wants there to be that issue like within the relationship kind of thing. She doesn't want there to be, but there is mentally things that are going on that's weighing on her kind of thing. So I know that's not going to be everyone, but I just wanted to say it for the people who that will relate to. I am definitely getting very much a mother and child relationship out of this reading as well. But for those of you who this could be a romantic relationship or a friendship even that's sort of struggling with things, just try to show that you are there for that person. You don't want to push too hard, because if you do, it can cause them to kind of pull away even a bit more. But I am believing that they're trying to go it alone because they almost don't want to disappoint you, and they don't want you to think ill of them. But we are seeing lastly in this Queen of Cups here that this is very much a sign that there is this compassion and calmness. It's very reminiscent of this Two of Pentacles, where they just have a hold of their, or yeah, they just have this hold of their emotions. They have like the ability to really just hold themselves in this beautiful, regal way. And they're also very emotionally secure. So even though they're going through this like sort of turbulent time, they're really keeping their head up, and they're showing that they are being very brave and courageous all throughout it. And it's almost hard to tell that there's an issue. Like, they just seem to be going about their normal. And yes, it may be affecting a couple of things, but they have just such a hold on their emotions and their abilities to really work through things. So now that we know a little bit about what it is that they're going through, and if this can indicate this person that's trying to come through and speak through this reading, I'm gonna go forward and see how it is they feel about you. So I already got kind of some feelings that like they don't want to disappoint you, and they definitely aren't doing this maliciously. Like, whatever is going on, I don't think that this is like a negative thing. But let's get a little further into the cards. Let's see what we've got. So this here is the Four of Swords in the reverse position. I just wanted to double check that I was pulling that. We also have the Page of Swords in the reverse position. One more. And we have the Nine of Swords in the reverse position. So there's obviously, yes, a lot of mental blocks going on. There's a lot of things that are pulling them away from you in a way where you're noticing it, and it's definitely like stressing you out. I'm seeing too that, let's start with the Four of Swords reversed. In this one here, it could be that they just are really, really burnt out. And how it ends up appearing is that it appears like whatever you guys had going on, whatever relationship this is, there's some sort of lack of progress. So if it was like a romantic relationship, it could almost feel like suddenly everything's stagnant. It's like they're not trying to like bring you flowers or plan dates or doing those little things like how I mentioned they would wake up and like text you. Maybe they just aren't doing that anymore, and it feels like your relationship is kind of taking a step back, and there's just that lack of progress that is going on that's pulling from this relationship. We're also seeing in the Page of Swords reversed that it could be that they have been also bigging up a lot of promises that they haven't delivered on. And this card can indicate like all talk and no action. So it could be that they've promised you things such as like you've had a discussion with them about this, being like, hey, like, you know, it feels like you aren't prioritizing me. And they're saying back to you like, yeah, sorry about that, you know, like I'll try better, or like I'll try to do more kind of thing. And then it ends up being like a week, 2, 3 later, and they've kind of fallen back into their old ways. And again, I don't think this is because of you. I think that they are just, because all of these cards here that came out are swords, I'm really seeing that there's some sort of mental toll that's really taking it away from you guys' relationship, whatever this relationship is. Because lastly, we're seeing in the Six of Swords reversed, not six, I'm sorry, this is the Nine of Swords reversed, that this one here comes out when there is some sort of like intense form of depression. And so it could be that this person has been suffering for a while and they've been suffering through it alone. And that is really what's coming out as the root cause of why it feels different, why you guys' relationship feels a little bit different. I'm also feeling like for some of you that, again, they don't want to disappoint you, but they also don't want to put the burden of what has happened in their life onto you because they don't think it's fair. Like, they don't think that it would be fair to you if they opened up suddenly and there was just this outpour of all these emotions kind of thing. But thinking that, like, one, that isn't healthy, but I'm thinking that you just want communication and you just want them to open up. So how does they feel though about group 1? We have the 3 of Swords coming out in the reverse position. More swords. The Hermit, okay, yeah. It's making a bit more sense. The Emperor, okay, yeah. Yeah, I really think they don't think that they should, not that they should have to, but they don't want to like hurt you by being open, is almost the feeling that I'm getting. One more. And last we have the 8 of Cups in the reverse position. Okay, so right off the bat, in the 3 of Swords reverse, this is a card that is showing a releasing of pain. It can be a forgiveness card, and it can also be a card that has to do with like optimism. So I believe that they do see you as this form of almost of healing, that they know that you're somebody who can bring about this help in releasing their pain. But again, I'm really seeing that they're not even afraid of opening up, just they don't want to put it on you. And that's what's really holding them back. For some people, I'm gonna just like, to cover all my bases, for some people, it could be that this person did something specifically to you and they are still afraid of opening up, and maybe they've said that they're sorry, but they don't feel like it's over yet. And this is a card here that's trying to indicate that you're the person that could give them that forgiveness that they need and could help them in releasing that pain, but they almost feel like they don't deserve it, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. So for some of you, it is something that this person did do something where it could have caused this broken homeness. I'm specifically talking about like cheating, is kind of the vibe I'm getting for some of you, is that they could have possibly betrayed your trust and cheated, and that has really eaten away at their mental clarity and just how they feel about themselves, and they want forgiveness from you, but they know that they shouldn't, they almost feel like, oh, I shouldn't be forgiven for what happened, kind of thing, because that's all on you. Like, you are allowed to decide when you want to forgive somebody. So if that's you, you still get to make the decision on when you forgive this person. But I am feeling like for most people, it's something that happened in their past that they're afraid of opening up about, but they see you as someone who is very optimistic, who is very like loving and comforting, and they believe that you could be the person that could help them release this past pain that they've had, but they are going into hermit mode. So over here with the Hermit, we are seeing someone who very much wants to focus on their own inner self and guidance instead of reaching a hand out for help. We're also seeing the Hermit, though, that this is someone who is doing a lot of soul searching. So if it was somebody who hurt another person in a relationship, such as a cheating incident, they are doing a lot of soul searching and trying to figure things out on their end. And why I'm saying that too is like with the Emperor reversed, it's like it almost feels like someone who doesn't have like they don't have this integrity that the Emperor upright normally has. So like they lost that part of themselves in that instance. And so now that things have come to light, they're kind of shut in on themselves. And that's really making it why it's coming out in this way and why they're kind of like why they're definitely off, especially specifically with you, is because I'm getting the feeling for some of you that you were the person that they hurt, and that's why things are misaligned there. But for those of you who this either isn't a romantic relationship, or even if it is, if it's somebody who didn't cheat on you or anything, I do think that how this person deals with things is that they sort of like close themselves off from other people and they really dig deep inside of them instead of searching for help on the outside, which makes them feel very hard to reach. And it's not that they don't believe that you can help, because I really do think that you can and they believe that you can, but I think it's just that it's that so much like they don't want to put that burden on you, and that's why they pull away so heavily. And we're seeing in the Emperor reversed here that they like to have control of their lives. They like to be the one who's in control, and so they're nervous, and with how they think about you is they're afraid that they would allow too much of these like sort of negative aspects to come out that could possibly like hurt your relationship, because like with the Emperor reversed, it's very much a like dominating card, too much control, and not allowing for emotions to generally come in. But before, we were seeing this as such a, they have their emotional control together so well. So I think it's just sort of just under the surface. It's possible that if things were to come to light, they would feel so out of control that it could be that their emotions could come all over the place and be like really disruptive. Because we're seeing here in the Eight of Cups reversed that they think that there is this sort of like hopelessness to the situation, and they're afraid of you walking away from them. They don't want to be like have you like mistake whatever it is that they're trying to express to you, and because of that, that's why they have been so hesitant. So I really think that this is just an instance where it's someone who's afraid to open themselves up to you, and they really are going through some mental turmoil that's making it hard for you to even recognize like, hey, is there like do we have a way that we can communicate, kind of thing. I'm seeing that as being like some of the things that's causing this like harshness. I definitely want to pull a few more cards. I'm going to grab one more deck and I'm going to pull a couple more cards. Can we get any more clarity on how they feel about group number one? The Hierophant. Seven of Pentacles in the reverse position. And the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is that I believe that they think that because they haven't had to delve into this before with you, that they're afraid that you're going to think that it's out of the norm. Like you're going to think, oh, this is really out of character. And like they're afraid that you're suddenly not going to want them. You're not going to want them in your life if they have to rely on you in this way. Because we're seeing in the Hierophant, it's almost like this is how we work kind of thing. Because this card is very much being like aligned in having some sort of conformity to like tradition and some sort of like belief system. So almost like for people who like believe in gender norms, we don't here, by the way, but for people who are like men shouldn't show their emotions kind of thing, they're afraid of opening themselves up and showing their emotions and then scaring you off with that, basically. So this is kind of the feeling that I'm getting, is that they're just afraid of it, even though you may not care whatsoever. You'd be like, I'm here to support you, babe. Like, I will love you no matter what. I think they're just, it's kind of ingrained in them from their past like generations. And so it's hard for them to want to show it because of that past fear, basically. And then we're seeing in the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse position is that I think that they are afraid because they didn't realize you guys were going to get this deep. So maybe you guys thought that this was just like, oh, like we're dating just to date kind of thing. And then it ended up being like, you guys have been together for a little bit of time and you're like, wait a minute, I actually really like this person. And so now they're like, I didn't realize that I was going to have to get to this point and open up about this thing with you. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for some of you. For others, it could be that they are just like, in their head, they're like about you, they're going, why should I put this on them just so I can feel good for a short amount of time? That's almost how they're seeing it. That they're like, I shouldn't open up because like it's just gonna make me feel okay for a second, but then they're gonna hold all this burden, if that makes sense. And then lastly, we're seeing in the Eight of Pentacles, this is like a card where it has to do with like doing things like over and over again to make it perfect kind of thing. I think they think about this a lot, and I almost think that they're overthinking in the sense of they are running conversations in their head over and over again to see what the best way it is to approach you about all of this stuff that's going on, because they want to have like the best outcome. Instead of just opening up, they're like, if I run through this scenario enough times, maybe I'll figure it out, is kind of the feeling like that I'm getting. So hopefully this helped clear up any of that. I'm going to pull these cards here for any last messages. I think that they really do want to rely on you. They just don't know how. And so that's why they're so scared. The first one we are seeing is third quarter, which is coming out, that says, I connect with nature at my own pace. So it could be that this person here is that they are kind of like connecting with nature in the sense of their nature, how they are, they're going to open up when they want to open up, is almost like what I'm seeing with that card. I think you expressing that you want to be there for them is going to be helpful, but I do think that there's somebody who's almost a little bit stubborn in the way that they do things and the way that they open up, that again, they're going to just do it at their own pace. Next, we have this fireweed, which says ignite new possibilities and adventures. So I think that in regards to how they feel about you, I believe that you are somebody who ignites new possibilities and adventures into their life. I think they see you as someone who's fun and exciting and like beautiful, that they want you in their life, but they're currently struggling with how to open up and get back to how you guys were. Oh, please. One more, please. And lastly, we are seeing citrine, which says on this card abundance, but I'm also seeing citrine as this is very much a crystal that deals with like happiness and brightness. So again, it's almost like the same sort of vibes here that we have with honey calcite. Is like I'm seeing that they're seeing you as someone who's very happy, very positive and optimistic, and that they want to be around that warmth that you carry. So I do believe that they have these positive, bright feelings about you. It's just that opening up to you is what's hard. And then this is going to be the last card that we pull. I'm going to take the two that fell here. So I'm going to take both of these. This first one here says, courage is the key to the gateway of life. Expansion and freedom are on the other side. Wow, that's amazing. So really just them knowing that if they can have that bit of courage to really unlock using that key to break forth from their like mental struggles, that they are going to feel that freedom. They're going to be able to feel that expansion, and that you're there to help them if you want to be, of course. But I really think that that's something that they need to recognize and realize in order to push forward. And this card says, when would now be a good time? So honestly, this is kind of feels like they go hand in hand, to be honest. Is like now would be the time that this discussion needs to happen. Again, it's right under this third quarter, which says that they connect with nature at their own pace. So we don't want to push people too hard if they don't have that mental ability to do so. But I'm almost seeing this as, this is almost like, this came out as almost like you being sassy. Like, when would now be a good time? Like, I want to have this discussion right now. I want to turn off this video and call you up right now, kind of thing. But I think just you indicating that you are really there for them and you want to help them through this is going to kind of nudge that door open just a little bit more. You showing that you care and that you love them no matter what is going to help them just feel so much more secure and safe within themselves, and they're going to eventually be able to open up to you. So if you liked this reading or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick-a-Card readings in the future. And also, if you feel like it's safe for you to do so, go ahead and leave a mushroom emoji down in the comment box below to let myself and others know that you did get this far in your reading. And I will see you guys in our next video. Goodbye. Hello, group number 2. If you chose the Marigold Tarot along with the Zebra Jasper, then this is going to be your reading all about how it is that they feel about you. So with this Zebra Jasper here, this can really help indicate either basically what it is that you're trying to accomplish here, because this crystal can help us see past certain illusions. So it can really help in you trying to figure out exactly what it is that's going on within this relationship. It can also really be helpful in protecting someone's aura. So what I'm getting from this too is that it could possibly be someone indicating their sort of natural personality and how it is that they come across to you. So I'm seeing this as being very much someone who is very grounded in on themselves. It could also indicate yourself. So it could just be that this is just indicative of who you are, or the person that you're thinking of. And the reason why I set these cards back down is that I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm actually going to roll this Astro Dice a couple of times to see if we can get the zodiac sign of the person that you're thinking of, or your zodiac sign, or possibly someone who's trying to come in to give you a message. So let's go ahead and roll this a couple of times. The first one we are seeing coming out is Aries. Then next is Gemini. And lastly, we have Taurus. So I'm going to set that aside. It could be either your sun, moon, or rising, or theirs. But talking a bit more about that Zebra Jasper, I'm really getting this feeling as if it's somebody who is very much connected with themselves and very much grounded in the sense of like, they're not a person who has like their head in the clouds. They're almost like a realist is the vibe that I'm getting. And I keep chucking these cards everywhere because they're so slippery. So let's go ahead and get into this reading without throwing the cards all over the place. That could be indicative of somebody that maybe has a chaotic energy. Let's get in contact with this person and how they feel about group number 2. Firstly, we are seeing the Hanged Man in the reversed position. That's backwards. Next, we have the Emperor. We have the World. Ooh, we got some really strong energy with this one. And lastly, we have the Page of Wands in the reversed position. So what I'm seeing outright is that I'm obviously getting very, very much like intense masculine energy with this, considering we have a couple of cards that are more generally seen as masculine with the Hanged Man and the Emperor. So what I'm seeing here is with the Hanged Man in the reverse position, this could be somebody who is having a hard time in making a decision, or just in general, they're very much an indecisive person. I'm also seeing for some people that they could kind of, this is like the card of like someone being like a martyr. So it could be that they're kind of like taking things on themselves when they don't necessarily need to be. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from that card. Next, we are seeing here with the Emperor, we're having this very structured and solid person. We're also seeing, again, if you are somebody who is like watching this and being like, but wait, like I was thinking about a female or something. It doesn't need to be someone who is just like solidly like male identifying. It could be though that they just have a lot of masculine traits to them, because we carry both feminine and masculine traits within us no matter what our gender identity is. But I'm seeing this as somebody who has a lot of these masculine either features or just masculine like vibes about them. So they are very much like an authority figure. They could come across as someone who is just very, very structured and has their stuff together. Next, we are seeing here in the World that I believe that we're getting this sense that this person truly feels like the world, like you are their world kind of thing. This is a card that really shows a complete integration of two things. So I'm really believing that for some of you, it's that you basically are completing their journey, and it's a beautiful and happy thing for you guys to be thinking in this way. They feel a sense of accomplishment when they're with you, in the sense of maybe they didn't believe that this was going to be something that they would have in life, and now they just feel so confident and calm because they do finally have you. We could also be seeing here in the World that this is basically that they're at this level where like they don't want to seek anything else, basically, in the sense of it feels complete, so they're not having a wandering eye, and they're not trying to play games elsewhere or try to like leave this relationship anytime soon. If this is a relationship reading, I think that they're completely fine, content, and happy with you, and that's something that they truly, truly believe. For others who this is not a relationship, this is just someone else that's been in your life, and you're just kind of wondering a little bit about them, is I think that they do still feel this positivity that comes with you, that they are very happy to have met you and to have you in their life. And they aren't seeing this like friendship breaking anytime soon. They're not wanting to cause any sort of like shakeups in this friendship or relationship anytime soon. And next we are seeing in the Page of Wands in the reverse position is that it could be, though, that there is a little bit of pessimism that's kind of plaguing this relationship a little bit. It could be that maybe they want to start a new chapter with you, but there's something that's kind of like stopping you guys. There's some lack of direction. Either you guys can't make up your minds on what it is that you want to do, or there's something else in that's just generally causing there to be some sort of almost misalignment. That is part of the reason why you may be watching this video, is that you're just trying to figure out a little bit more information on what it is that could kind of help you break through and change up this dynamic a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and pull a few more cards for some more clarity. Can we get some more clarity from this person? Can we get more vibes on how it is that they feel about our group number 2? So firstly, we had the Hermit coming out in the reversed position. Ooh, we're seeing the Tower. What's next? And the Moon in the reverse position. Again, so much strong energy in this reading so far, considering we have 7 cards out on the table and 6 of them are major arcana. So I do feel like this is a message that needs to be heard and that is going to really change up a few things in you guys' life. So we're seeing in the Hermit reversed that it's very possible that they are either seeing themselves or they're seeing you pulling away and being very isolated from one another. There's some sort of withdrawal happening. For some people, despite this completion where it makes them feel complete, for some people I am seeing this almost as like there's some sort of breaking up that's happening. For some people they're not gonna be pleased with that, but for others they might be like, yeah, it was kind of a long time coming. But what we're seeing here is there is some sort of separation that's going on with the Hermit in the reverse position where you guys are detaching from one another. There is this period of detachment. So for some people, this could have already happened, and this is a message for those people, is like, this is how they saw the relationship, and then maybe you guys didn't see a future and there was this withdrawal moment. For others, it could be that you're about to head toward this and maybe you kind of know that it's coming, but this could be the heads up that you might need to be hearing. Again, there's some sort of detachment or withdrawal from one another that I'm seeing, because we're seeing in the Tower that there's something that's out of your control that's going to be happening that's going to suddenly change up this dynamic. So this could possibly be, for some people, I am getting that you guys are both going to realize that you worked better as friends, and that's why there's going to be this pull away. And for others, there's going to be something more intense that could possibly lead to some sort of either a cheating situation happened or is happening that is out of your control. And when it gets found out, there's going to be this breakup that's happening because it is such an intense moment. This Tower card is very much a sudden change of life and very much comes at a time when The universe is trying to be like, hey, we've got to put you on the right track again. So we need you to realize all of these things and go down a different path. And I'm seeing here in the moon reversed, this is coming out as a breakaway of illusion, which again, we had this zebra jasper that is here to let you know that you're going to see past these illusions. In the moon reverse, we have this feeling of, even though there's a release of your fears because you're seeing past the illusion, there is still the sense of confusion and unhappiness that comes beyond this point. So I am really seeing for some of you that this could be that there was a relationship that seemed to be going very, very well, and then it turned into kind of a nightmare situation where you have revealed a few things about yourself that when this sudden change happened, you're seeing past this. For other people where this is a friendship versus a relationship sort of thing, or even a family member, I am seeing on here that it could be that there was something that, again, you guys are very much like the pinnacles of each other's world, but there was something that happened that made it so they were taken out of your life. So this could have been either a passing of some sort, or it could have been something where you realized that no matter how much you care about this person, you cannot have them in your life because they're the way that they act and the way that they fit in your life is no longer conducive to you growing and feeling good about yourself. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because it almost feels like, say there was like a toxic friendship or family like situation, and take for example like a father, because this card here is a father figure card. It could possibly be that you being their child is always going to be that you are like their world because you were such an integral part to them. But it could be that they displayed these traits that you, as you got older, recognized that you couldn't have in your life anymore. And so this upset that's coming out is you putting down this boundary that you're like, listen, I can't have you in my life anymore, and you have to go down this route in order to feel safe. And that's how I'm seeing this for some of you as well. So this is very much you having to go through a very hard and courageous path, but it's obviously still bothering you, I think, on the inside. And as we can see, I think it's weighing heavily on them too because of how many major arcana I'm seeing. I am seeing this as if like these were really big steps that happened in their life and really big changes that came about in their life that it's not easy to ignore. It's not like you guys were dating for a week and then there was suddenly like a breakup. Like that's not what I'm seeing. I'm really seeing something very heavy that happened. For some of you, you could have even been married. But I feel like it was, you guys had a very intense and long-lasting relationship that had to come to a sudden end because of a situation that went on. So let's get some more clarity on how it is that this person feels about group number 2. Can we get any more information, please? Look at this. We've got the World in reversed now coming out. The fact that even more major arcana is coming out really is giving me that they just feel so intense about the situation. Let's keep showing any more messages that we can get for group number 2. That's the Page of Cups in the reverse position. The 9 of Cups in the reverse position. And one more, please. One more for group 2. The 8 of Cups in the reverse position. A lot of cups, so a lot of emotions are coming out in this. The fact that we're seeing the World in the reverse position makes me think that they believe that there's some sort of lack of closure. Like, you guys weren't able to see on the same page before you made this sort of separation, is what I'm getting. Is that either, again, it could have been that this person was taken from your life via some sort of like passing, or it was just such a sudden, like, I can't deal with this person anymore, I can't have them anymore, that you like blocked them on everything. So they feel like there wasn't this way for you guys to talk it out. And so with that, it's obviously made it very hard for you or this person to move on past this point, because we are seeing a lot of cups, and cups have to do with your emotions. So firstly, we are seeing here in the Page of Cups reversed that there is some sort of like, this card can be indicative of like emotional and immaturity. So it could be that if they are somebody who tends to be a martyr, it could be that they're just like, they're like, of course this would happen to me, and da da da, like kind of thing, that sort of situation where they're almost like victim, like they're in this victim mentality mindset kind of thing. Or maybe they're being petty and they're actually thinking that you're emotionally immature about this situation. So it could be that they're seeing you in that light. I'm especially getting that if it's like a father who, like if you were a child who left the situation, it could be that they're just like, oh, they need to act their age and like that kind of thing. So it could be that they just really aren't taking you seriously when it comes to your emotions in the situation. But for others, I am getting this feeling as if it's coming from their end. We're also seeing the Nine of Cups reversed here, is that there is a lot of dissatisfaction that's going on here. It's like they wanted more. So they wanted this to really, really work, this relationship. They wanted it to work fully, but they don't have, it feels like they don't have access to you anymore almost, and they aren't able to get what it is that they wanted out of this relationship, which is kind of causing more of those emotions to flare up. And lastly, we're seeing here in the Eight of Cups reversed that they feel as if you are really like walking away from them. Like you almost don't have time to be dealing with this situation anymore. So you're kind of like, you know what, like I don't need this in my life anymore. And they're seeing as if you're trying to pull yourself away from them even more. Like you don't know what else to do. And for some of you, it is that they could almost see as if like you are seeing it, like you don't have a lot of hope beyond this point. So for some of you, if it was like a passing of someone, they can tell that you are going through this like intense grieving period, and they can see how hard it is for you now that they're no longer here. So it's hard to parse this when it comes to the fact that for some of you, this is very much a romantic thing. And for others, I really do believe that this is almost like a grandfather or father figure that had passed. And you're kind of picking up the pieces beyond that because of how intense these cards are that came out. So let's see if we can pull any more for any last messages. Are there any more messages that we have for group number 2? Firstly, we have this aquamarine coming out, which stands for courage. So having the courage to just continue to be yourself, continue to grow beyond this point. I think maybe they see you as someone who is very courageous as well. Like you aren't afraid to get what you want. You aren't afraid to settle kind of thing. And so they can see that from you. But that doesn't mean that they aren't a little bit bitter about it. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for some is that they are a little sad that like I don't want to say they can't control you or manipulate you, but it's like because they don't have access to you anymore, they don't have tabs on what's going on in your life, or they're about to not be able to have tabs on your life. They are a little bit bitter about the fact that you seemingly can move on and move away from them. Next, we're seeing Taurus, which we did see Taurus again in when we were rolling for our Astro Dice. So this could be further indication that either you are a Taurus or this person is a Taurus. So on here it says patient, caring, and calm. And Taurus, for me, can also be indicative of someone who is very, very stubborn. Like, they think that their way is the proper way and they're just gonna keep on going and going kind of thing until they see the end result that they want to see. So if that is someone in your life, maybe that can be a little bit more indicative to you. Any last cards? We're also seeing here in this waning crescent card, it says, I pause in stillness and reflect. So it could be that this is a direct message from your person, that they could be trying to understand why this situation happened, and they could be taking the time to be looking in on themselves and trying to find out why it happened. Again, they're trying to reflect on their actions, on your actions, and they're trying to really recognize this instead of just being like, oh, well, that happened, and then just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like, they're not trying to just forget you, but they are trying to look into it a little bit more, play a little bit of detective, and find out why this happened. So if it comes up in the future, they'll be better equipped to either deal with the same sort of relationship, or if there's some way that you guys could come back together. For some of you, I feel like you could come back together if that's what you want. I think that they're trying to put in the work a little bit to really figure out why this all happened, and they're not taking it lightly is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So for some of you, for those of you who are interested in like this person possibly coming back into your life, I do believe that it is possible, and you knowing that they're working on themselves is going to help you feel a bit more safe, I think, when it comes to you wanting to open up to them again. Because maybe before they were very much like, oh, I don't have to open up, like I don't have to think about my actions, like I just kind of do what I want kind of thing. I think that this is kind of a message from them to you, being like, look, I'm looking a little bit deeper, I'm trying to find out why it is that I did this or said this kind of thing. So that could be helpful for some people to know, just for future reference. And lastly, we have these little cards here that I'm going to pull one last message from. So from your person and how they think about you. Wrap this up with this final card. This one here. This one says, the only way to have a friend is to be one. Do something about that today. So this could be very indicative for those of you who were like, this was like a friendship, this was a relationship, or like a father. This could be very much clear for a friendship situation where it's that they're realizing why this happened. Again, they're reflecting on why this happened, and they're realizing that they weren't a friend to you in whatever the situation was that you needed to like block them out of your life kind of thing. Again, it could still follow that whole like romantic relationship or parental relationship where it's like the only way for you to be friendly with me is to realize that you have to be a friend and you have to be trustworthy and everything, and they're trying to take steps. So do something about that today, as I really think that they're trying to take these steps in order to change, considering a couple of cards that we've seen where it looks a little bit more hopeful, that they are remorseful and they are trying a little bit more. So if you liked this reading or resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick-a-Card readings in the future. And also, if it feels safe to do so and you are interested in doing so, leave a lightning bolt in the comment box below, and then it'll indicate to myself and others that you did get this far in your reading, and hopefully it can help in sort of moving past this tower moment, this strong tower moment. Hopefully you're able to get about it through with grace and dignity. So I will see you guys in our next video. Have a great day. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that they feel about you. So you could have been attracted to either just the Rider-Waite Tarot deck or this Bloodstone. And with this crystal here, how we are seeing with this, there's this feeling of this very smooth sort of energy flow, and this can really help to purify you and really pull negative energy away from you. So how I'm really seeing this is, it could be indicative of either yourself or the person that you're thinking about, or the person who's trying to come through to express themselves to you. So in that sense, I'm seeing this as somebody who has a vibe that's just, they just flow. They're just really chill people, and things that come into their life, they almost can always turn it into something positive. So I'm getting this feeling like they really do not like to allow negativity into their life, and they are very, very good about making people around them feel the same way, like feel energized versus taking things away from them. So this could be you or the person that you're thinking about. And I'm also going to do things a little bit differently by I'm going to roll this Astro dice a couple of times to see if we can get the zodiac signs of either yourself, so you know that this is your reading, or the person that you are thinking of, or the person who wants to come through. So let's go ahead and roll this a few times. The first one that's coming out is Leo. Then next we have Aries, which, just to let you know, Aries has come out for each one of these readings. So if the person who you are thinking of is an Aries, you really could probably watch either of these and maybe pull out some more information. Or maybe if you're an Aries, these could all be meant for you. And lastly, we are seeing Cancer coming out as well. So I just wanted to get those out of the way just to make sure you knew that this was the correct reading for you. And we're going to go ahead and get started with a quick shuffle. And what we want to do is we really want to see what it is that this person feels about you and what it is that they want to share with you. I'm quickly flipping over some cards because my deck was apparently not completely aligned. So we're gonna go ahead, shuffle one more time before we get those messages for you. All right, so for group 3, tapping into their person, how is it that they feel about them? Can we get some information on this person, how they are, how the relationship was or is to this day? We've got the 7 of Swords coming out in the reverse position. I also had these just fly out, so we're gonna just take that 7 of Swords reversed first and foremost. Next we have the 3 of Pentacles. Get a few more messages, please, for group number 3 about their person. This card wanted to come out. We have the 5 of Wands. And one more. Oof, we got the Wheel of Fortune that just came out. So I am really seeing this as some sort of situation where perhaps there's some sort of need for them to work on something before they can get to this point with you where it feels like you guys are seeing eye to eye. is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And this is kind of reminiscent of group number 1 as well. So kind of like how I mentioned with if you're in Aries, or if the person you're thinking of is in Aries, you might need to find some further messages there. So if you want to, feel free to watch that after this reading as well. But we are seeing some similarities in the sense of the Seven of Swords here reversed is dealing with some sort of mental challenge and some need to break free from something. So they could be bogged down with all of these thoughts that are coming to them and these issues that they've been dealing with that they need to continue to deal with and fight through in order to really have this favorable ending with the Wheel of Fortune here. However, we are seeing in the Three of Pentacles that they very much are about learning new things about themselves and about working as a team. So this doesn't feel like they're going it alone. In group 1, it's a little bit more going alone, but in this one here, we're seeing that they are trying their best to work on this with someone. So even if this isn't them working on it with you, it's possible that they could be working on it with some sort of professional help in the way of like a therapist, or they're talking to a doctor about a certain situation that they need to get taken care of. So they are definitely going down this route where they are working on the situation. Alternatively, if they aren't working on it, I'm seeing that they believe that you are someone who is there to help them with that sort of thing. So they see you as a team player. They see you as somebody who is really there to help them learn things about themselves. And they believe that you are open to teaching them these sorts of things, and that there isn't you don't make them feel like less than when it comes to talking about things. So I do feel like this person sees you in very high regard. They see you as someone who is very pure and able to speak on things without making them feel like they don't know anything. That's the vibe that I'm getting. But we're seeing here in the Five of Wands that there is some sort of conflict or tension that's going on. So this can either be between you guys, or I'm really seeing there's this tension between themselves mentally, where there's this deep-seated conflict that's happening that it's making it really hard for them to process things and work through it. Alternatively, it could be a message about you where maybe they find it hard to express themselves, in the sense of like they know that you could help them, but maybe they have a really hard time in getting their point across. So it almost comes across as like them being misunderstood, or there's some sort of like disagreement that they have, and it's kind of like because they have their own opinion, they are afraid to like share it, because they're like, well, you're just gonna be right and you're just gonna like talk over me or something, and they're gonna like feel that that's gonna make them feel small, and so they are a little bit scared to kind of talk about it. I don't think it's like you purposefully doing anything wrong. I think that they just see it as almost like a competition of some sorts, where it's like they feel like they need to like be right to win, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from some of them. But I don't think that that's the end all issue. I believe that you guys could work through this as long as you know how to balance yourselves when it comes to listening to each other, because communication is key, but comprehension is what actually like gets things going. Is that when you guys can comprehend where each other are coming from, that's when you can truly start working on things and making things have this like beautiful fresh outcome. We're seeing this here in the Wheel of Fortune, that this is all about a turning point in someone's life. This tends to deal with destiny, and it's generally seen as a positive or a favorable card because it normally brings about good luck and good karma. So we are seeing this positive outcome. So if you were kind of nervous about a situation dealing with somebody, I do believe that there is going to be this resolution toward the end where you guys are going to be able to see eye to eye and things are going to just work out for you guys in the end. So let's go ahead and pull a few more cards for more messages. So let's get a little bit further. So how is it that this person feels about group number 3? Can we get a little bit more information, please? Ooh, we are seeing the Hermit in the reverse position. We've also got 4 of Pentacles in the reverse position as well. And lastly, the 3 of Cups in the reverse position. Okay. So how I'm seeing this is with the Hermit reversed, it is very possible that they are pulling away from you. There's either you are, it could be either that they're pulling away from you or you're pulling away from them. And it's kind of an obvious thing where you guys are seeing that there is this separation that you guys used to have and used to be close, but they are, one of you is like pulling away from the situation because you are trying to really isolate yourselves and really try to look deeper into yourself a bit more. But I think it's coming from almost like there's not a lot of work that's getting done on it. Like they want to pull away so they can focus on themselves, but they keep kind of dabbling a little bit more like into your life, or you keep dabbling into their life kind of thing. And it's like, what's going on? Like, where's this give and take? Like where is it that we can find this middle ground and actually focus on healing and working on our inner selves before we possibly get into a fight? You know what I mean? Like there's something happening here that's making it really hard for them to really focus on this inner healing. Because we're seeing in the 4 of Pentacles reversed that there is a need for this self-protection. So it could be that they see you as someone who really protects yourself when it comes to certain situations. So like if something happens, like if conflict arises, you are sooner going to pull away to protect yourself and your energy than to allow other people to attack you and make you feel bad and everything. Or that's why they needed to pull away, is because they feel like they need to protect themselves and be kind of shut in for a little while. This card can also indicate things such as greed or materialism. So for some of you, I don't know if this is just a thought that they possibly have. Maybe they think you're materialistic. I don't know. It could possibly be a thing for some of you that they're thinking this way. But I feel more likely that this has to do with them recognizing that either you want more out of this relationship or they want more out of the relationship. That's where that greed is coming from, is like feeling greedy in the sense of like someone wants someone's attention and there's this block on getting this attention is what I'm seeing, kind of thing. We also have the 3 of Cups in the reverse position, and this card comes out specifically when there is some sort of affair that happened. It's very much the 3 is a crowd card. So for some of you, this is going to be very, very obviously that this person possibly hurt you by cheating on you or leading you on or something like that when they actually had interest elsewhere. And this is why they're kind of dealing with these inner thoughts, these inner issues. and that's what's making it hard for them to connect with you and really open up to you. Again, there's some similar messages in group number 1, so if you're so far resonating with this one, you may want to look there for just some further messages as well. But for those of you where this is obviously not a relationship thing or an issue of them being tempted or anything, it could just be that maybe they feel like there's just some sort of block between you guys. Like there's something going on. Maybe they think that you're unavailable in the sense of like, maybe you have someone else and they feel like they have to fight for your attention, kind of thing. Maybe you're the lucky one where you're sitting there and you've got your partner, and then there's other person comes in and they're like, I kind of like you too, but I can't go anywhere with this because you're obviously in a happy relationship, and you could have the choice of whether or not you wanted to stay with your partner or reach out and have this new connection, kind of thing. For some of you, we are seeing this turning point. We are seeing this possibility of you shifting from one relationship to another sort of thing, and this being a more positive outcome for you. But for others, it is very possible that they just feel like it's hard for them to reach you on a certain level, and because of that, that's why they're feeling like they're a little bit pulled away and need to be isolated. It's because they just don't have the a way to really break through and reach you, basically get you to understand where they're coming from, sort of thing. So let's pull some more, because we have a lot of messages going on, but we do need a few more just to have a little bit more clarity. I am seeing some masculine energy coming through in this as well. Nothing as overt as like previous readings have been. Getting a little bit further into the reading, I am definitely feeling like this is someone who is either male identifying or they do have more masculine traits to them. We have the Knight of Cups coming in the reversed position. Ooh, we have the Devil coming out, as well as the Two of Swords. We've got one last one. And then this final one is the Six of Cups. Okay. So with the Knight of Cups reversed coming out, I am seeing this as as we were talking a little bit before about the possibility that maybe you're in a relationship right now and they're interested in you. This is kind of giving me further indication of that, because the Knight of Cups is showing this sort of like jealous situation. They're being a little bit moody and they could possibly be having some unrealistic expectations of the situation. Like they're like, maybe if like I show that I'm like a better person, then they're suddenly gonna break up with the person that they're dating and they're gonna come to me. So I'm kind of getting that feeling from some of them, is they are jealous of like what's going on in your life and they want to be a part of it, and it's just sort of coming through as them being a little bit moody, being a little bit shut in on themselves. And you're noticing, because again, they don't want to have to fight for your attention. They don't want to have that competition that's going on. But I am seeing for some of you that this is definitely dealing with a relationship now. But alternatively, this could be how they feel about you, is like, this is like a message for like maybe one of you, though it's very, very like small, is that some of this could possibly be that they, because they are somebody who maybe had an affair, they think that you're being jealous and moody because of the actions that they took. And that would obviously indicate why they're thinking about the situation, but there isn't any real progress being made on it, because they're like, well, that's their fault. Like, they're the one that's jealous. They're jealous that this happened, kind of thing. And that's why it feels like isolated and stuck. But I really think that this is just a situation for like not many people, because that would be very, very petty. For one, that would be very entitled. But also, because we are seeing the Wheel of Fortune here, it could indicate that this is a turning point where you're realizing, like, I don't need this person in my life, or whatnot, because they're not trying to work on this. But for most people, I am seeing the Wheel of Fortune coming out as such a positive and happy card, like ending and card, that I really do believe that that is maybe a message for someone. But for most people, I believe that they are jealous because of what you have with someone else, or they just see that you're so happy as you. Like, if you're not in a relationship right now, it could just be that you are so whole and complete as yourself that they're jealous, because they're like, why can't I be like that? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel happy by myself, so like, why is this person so okay with just being single, kind of thing. That's the vibe that I'm kind of getting for some of this. We're also seeing the Devil, and whenever the Devil comes out, this is definitely a card that can really deal heavily with like things that deal with like the sexual nature. So they could see you as someone where you're either very lustful or they're very lustful toward you. It can also be kind of like, this could come out as you seeing them as a walking red flag, or they're seeing you as a walking red flag, kind of thing. It's like they know that like they shouldn't be drawn to you, or you shouldn't be drawn to them, but there's this kind of like addiction that you have to one another, where you're just very passionately into maybe the idea of each other. But there is something that's a little bit deeper, that's, yes, it's like a passionate calling, but you both know that it's not necessarily good for you, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from the Devil card. For those of you where this isn't based on like a sexual thing at all, it could just feel like you guys naturally gravitate toward one another. Like, you almost feel like you're bound, like your destinies are bound to one another for one reason or another. And that can be, it can be both positive and negative. The Devil generally is indicative of a more negative relationship or aspects within a relationship, namely because in this card, in like things like Rider-Waite Tarot deck, it's normally like the lovers are being seen held captive by the Devil, but they could just like walk away from the situation. They could take the bonds off of themselves and leave, but they almost feel like they have to be trapped there, kind of thing. So it could be that like you or this person feel like your destinies are just trapped within one another. And I'm seeing the reason why that is this could be like a karmic relationship, or like a trauma bonded relationship, but it could also be that you guys had a past life together, and that's why you guys are feeling such a heavy pull to one another, because we all have multiple soulmates, and soulmates don't have to be romantic or sexual. They can be platonic or even paternal soulmate connections. But I'm seeing this almost as like you guys keep coming back to each other, kind of situation. And I'm also seeing that this is because someone's not working on themselves in this relationship. I'm believing that it's the person that you are thinking of, but the reason why you guys are attracted may be inherently deeper, like a soulmate or even a twin flame kind of situation, but it's not working because one of you is not working on yourselves in order to collaborate with one another. That is like a really intense and long-winded message for some of you, so sorry if it got like lost kind of during that, but I had to get that out, and it just felt very, very, it feels very intense. I think it's partly because it is the devil can be such an intense card that I think that I just needed to ramble for a while. Another thing with the devil too is the devil is generally seen as very charismatic and very handsome and kind of like has like a silver tongue. Like they can say all the right things. They know exactly how to talk their way out of a wet paper bag. Like they know everything. So like they can do whatever they want in order to get out of a situation, and you know that they have this in them. Next, we are seeing here in the Two of Swords that there is this sort of truce that's going on. So I'm getting this feeling as if like you both are kind of like staring each other down, and you're like, who's gonna figure this out? There's some sort of issue dealing with blocked emotions where you guys are trying to, you're having a hard time seeing eye to eye with things, and because of that, they're having a hard time in being able to reach through to you and being able to make the choices that they need to make. So this is coming out as a way that it's like you guys have choices in the sense of you can walk away from one another if you want to, or you can make it work, but it really depends on you guys aligning with one another. And lastly, we're seeing in the Six of Cups here that this is very much a sense of reunion happening. And that's why I am seeing such a positivity with the Wheel of Fortune with the end of this, is because this card can be indicative of like nostalgia and like kind of like the good old days when everything just felt so like innocent and carefree kind of thing. It could be you guys returning to that form by having a reunion of some sorts. For some of you, that could be exactly what it is if you want it to be. Alternatively, it could be that this person sees you as someone who is very innocent, or maybe they see you as very childlike, or you give them nostalgic feelings. So it could be possible that this person has been in your life for some time, that they remember how it was when you guys were children even, and they're able to they still see you kind of in that way. We're gonna pull a few more cards here to get any last messages. So firstly, we have coming out is Virgo. So with Virgo, it says supportive, reliable, and meticulous. So that could be you that this is indicating. It could also be the person that you're thinking of as well. And other issues with like flaws pertaining to Virgo, it could be that they're very, very rigid or meticulous. So it could be almost like a sense of stubbornness kind of thing. They could be almost like a perfectionist where they allow things to get in their way because they feel like everything has to be completely perfect before they can reach a certain point kind of thing. So maybe that was something that possibly stopped you guys' relationship from going forward. Or again, it could be that maybe they are like, well, if you're with somebody, they could be like, well, it's not perfect because I can't just swoop in and rescue them or anything like that. So that could be another thing that could be holding them back. We're also seeing with Ghost Pipe, it says immerse in your shadow's wisdom. So I really think that this person is trying to do good by, with the Hermit reverse being here, it's like, I think they're trying to do good by looking in on themselves, but because they're not coming at it from a like sense of really wanting to do it out of your sake, they're having a hard time touching in on themselves and really finding out that the deep hard-hitting questions that need to be answered and found out within themselves. I think that's why they're having a hard time, and I think that they need to really work a little bit deeper in order to figure out that wisdom that their shadow self has, that they need to know their flaws a bit more before they're able to reach this point of contentment, this turning point of good luck and happiness and everything with you. So they have to do a little bit more digging for you guys to be aligned. But lastly, we are seeing with Crown, this says connected and elevated. So this could be something where they see this of you, where they really feel like you are somebody who's just so connected with the things around you and very imaginative and very much like you're like their unicorn kind of thing, where they're like, wow, like this person is like 1 in a million. I want to get to know them. I'm never going to like be able to find someone as amazing or magical as they are, kind of thing. And because of this, it can be putting a lot of pressure on you as well, because we're not all perfect, amazing little unicorns or anything. So it could be that may be putting pressure on you, maybe making you feel a little weird, because especially if it's something where like you're in a relationship with somebody and this new person is coming in and trying to like get to know you, it could make you be like, listen, like I'm just a normal person, like I'm not anything special, so like why are you fighting so hard to try to get to know me, kind of thing. But I think that they believe that there's something special there and they want to explore that with you. Lastly, I'm going to pull one of these for any last messages. So this one here says, you live in a waking dream all day and all night, so play the role you desire and create the world that you want. So this is very much a like creator card. So they could be really believing that you are the person that's in control of this whole situation. Like maybe they feel like they don't have the ability to make any of these changes. If you want to have this positive growth and outcome with them, then that kind of falls on you to do that. Or if you're somebody that wants to walk away, then you're able to walk away from this person as well. Like you're kind of the god in the situation, where you're the one with all of the power, kind of thing. And I really think that they are almost seeing it as if like they're waiting for you to put this all into motion, is the vibe that I'm getting. And for some of you, again, that could be just a lot of pressure that you aren't sure if you want that on your shoulders, because you're still trying to figure out your own things as well. I do believe that they think positively of you, but I also think that they are kind of doing some underhanded things, in the sense of like, they kind of feel like, oh, I wish they would think about me more, and they're kind of like playing victim just a little bit, and like almost throwing themselves like a pity party because they wish that you would give them a bit more attention is really what I'm getting out of this. So if you liked this reading or it resonated with you at all, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future. And also, if it's safe to do so and you'd like to, feel free to leave a unicorn emoji in the comment box below to let myself and others know that you did get this far in your reading. Hopefully this person is able to kind of get their stuff together and really dig a little deeper to know more about themselves. So if you guys do want to have a friendship or relationship further on, you guys will be able to get this sorted. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.